Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we are jumping down into the world of Polkadot to take a look at what we think the potential is for the next bull run. Whether that comes in 6 months, 12 months, or even 2 years from now, I do not know. But one of the things that I do know is I have a good idea as to kind of where things might actually be heading in that next bull run. So as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and you will not miss another video. Above and beyond that, join us in the Discord server. It's a centralized hub of everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. It's a place you're going to be if you want to know what is happening in this space first. So do check that out. Links in the description below. Okay. Let's get into it, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at a few things. So to start with, what I think we'll do is we'll just split the screen up if I can get my words out today. I'm not really going to go into a lot of the fundamentals in this video, but I do want to kind of clear up a couple of things that are maybe a little bit hard for some people to kind of grasp or to kind of understand. So to start with, Polkadot is not a layer 1. Polkadot's not a layer 2. Polkadot is in fact a layer 0. It is basically a multi-chain is a good way of actually articulating, right? They say it's a multi-chain vision for Web3 and it starts with Polkadot. Essentially, it's like lots of different blockchains all coming together, right? So you think about interoperability and you kind of think Polkadot. So it's not a layer 1, it's a layer 0 and basically allows lots of other chains to connect into it. And that's an over the simplification of it. Obviously, I'm not going to go into a lot of the fundamentals, just going to give you a bit of a brief, I guess, top level kind of view of what Polkadot is about. And basically, it is about making things as interoperable as possible. Okay, true interoperability is actually what they say in this particular area down here. So true interoperability, economic and transactional scalability, easy blockchain innovation, high energy efficiency, security for everyone, and user-driven governance. So it's pretty big deal, right? Now, there are a few things, hence obviously all the pink and whatnot in the background here. There's a few things with Polkadot that maybe I've been a little bit disappointed with over the last kind of bull run. But actually on reflection, maybe that means it's just getting ready. It's just getting ready for a bit of a move to the upside. So let's go ahead and jump down into the charts. Now, this will be rather technical. I'll try to explain it the best that I can for you guys, but do join us in the Discord server. There's a lot more resources there to help understand anything that maybe isn't overly clear. So let's go ahead and jump into the desktop here. Okay, Polkadot paired up with USDT. This is our daily chart and Binance is our data source, okay? So with this, we want to review the structures and help us understand what is the most probable outcome next, okay? So there's a few things that we need to figure out here on the chart, okay? So the first thing that we need to figure out is when did we actually start? When is the dawn of time? And you can see it right down here with this little dinosaur, right? And the dawn of time comes in on this particular date down here. Let me find it. Find the first one, about 18th of August. Yeah, 18th of August, 2020. Right, and so we can see a pretty interesting kind of spike to the upsides, corrective down, and then we start moving up again, okay? So we know that basically this is the start of the bull run for many. It was actually March 2020, but here in the case of Polkadot on Binance, it's August 2020, okay? We consolidated in the latter part of that year, and then we really go up into 2021. Okay, here's the all-time high for Polkadot, which also happens to be approximately the same time as Bitcoin's all-time high. Okay, so what is the structure? Well, if we grab a fib tool, we can go ahead and do some basic measurements. We're going to grab hold of this. So we're going to move this over here, and we can see that we smashed past the 1.618. Okay, so if I go down and I draw this in, you go wave 1, wave 2, all of this here is wave 3, down for wave 4 and up here for wave 5. Now the wave 5 structure should have gone higher than this, but it looks like the internal wave count here with slight overextension to the end was everything that was needed. And this is possible. It can happen from time to time. It's not an impossibility, but it's rare. You don't normally see wave 5s this short. Okay, but wave 5 is only ever driven from retail money, and basically by this point, I think there's a lot of fear in the space. So if we've gone 5 up, then we should be expecting to go down in 3. Now, essentially, when you have these things, start with 5 waves in this case, you have to end in 5 waves. We can't just have 5 waves at the beginning of any structure. If you start with 5, you end in 5. Basic rule. So, knowing these things, we have to then think about the structure that goes down. Now, going down can be multiple different things. We could have 5 down, 3 up, 5 down, right? 5, 3, 5, a zigzag pattern. It could be 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, right? It could be another impulsive move to the downside, but then we'd have to go up in 3 and down in 5 again. And some of the other basic rules here is that we can't really cross this low level down here either at $2, right? That's going to be our low point on that structure. Okay, so we've kind of gone up in 5, and unless this is the end of a structure here, and the other possibility, I guess, is that it's not an impulsive 5 wave, but is W, X, Y, X, and Z. Okay, both kind of give us the same kind of output, but it does mean that we look at the structures slightly differently. It means that you could potentially come down lower than $2, for example. But I'm going to leave it as 5 waves up for now, and our theoretical low point at $2 shouldn't get broken. And at least according to Binance, that could change if you lose a different data source, of course. So here we can see that we come down in a pretty interesting kind of structure. There's actually a couple of things going on here. 1, 2, and 3, we have that kind of move. This is actually when Bitcoin was about $32,000 right here, went up to about $48,000. And here in the case of let me just get rid of that for a second and bring this up. In the case of DOT, this was 1405, and we went to that higher point just here at 2385, right? And then you can get that break back down the downside. Again, you know, a lot of people were thinking or maybe getting a little bit too excited at that particular point as well. Essentially, we've gone up in 3 waves there. We go 1, 2, and 3, and actually looked pretty good, but didn't hold, as you would usually see. And then we've come down here, and we actually have an interesting kind of structure within here. And we actually have come down 1, 2, and then here, and then we bounce back up again. Okay, so I think this hasn't finished. Okay, in the logical kind of sense of that, we've probably got 3 waves occurring on the internal counting. So we come down 1, 2, we've got to come down here, right? But that could just be a kind of mediocre stopping point. So let's go ahead and first talk about where this bear market has to go before we can really talk about where things are going to the upside next. So let's go ahead and just focus in on the Polkadot here for a second. So we have this move to the downside. We kind of bounced here and we rallied up to about this particular point. We then went down, up, and down. Okay, now there's a couple of different ways of looking at this. We can either look at it as a big kind of 3-wave drop, or we can look at it as W, X, Y, X, Z. And really, we can take a look. We've got 5 waves in the A wave here. We then come down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have kind of completed a little zigzag right in there, actually, like so. So I'd actually say, let me just delete that one off. That is a complete structure. Okay, then we bounced up and then we moved back down again. And here we've kind of come down, we've gone up in 3 and we're coming down. So I do think we've got a little bit more to the downside. Let me go ahead and measure this and then I'll draw you the bigger macro. So if I pull this over to here, we can see that we can come down to about $4.34. That seems like a pretty good stopping place at the moment. There's no guarantee it finishes there, but usually, you know, you're going to be pretty close to that number. So let's go ahead and remove that. From a counting point of view, we've only got 3 internal counts, 1, 2, and 3 down there. That's not a problem. Looks like we're coming down here with 1, got to come up, got to come down, something like that. And then that would actually put us into an interesting point. But on that note, if this is our major bounce here, right in this low point here, this zigzag pattern, which, you know, we could argue is maybe a double zigzag with an ending. Yeah, it could be a double zigzag. Quite like that as a double zigzag pattern, which would be pretty cool. Then, of course, you know, this completes down here. This is our bounce. That could mean even more to the downside. We could be looking at maybe the $2.44 all the way down there. A little bit on the bearish side, of course, so we won't want to necessarily kind of call out too low of a number, but yeah, there definitely seems to be some lower prices for Polkadot for sure. So I'm going to kind of think about this area down here for now, right? $4.34. And what I'm going to do is I want to see where this actually consolidates us down into. Okay, so if I actually think about that and see $4.34, $4.34 puts us somewhere around here. And actually, that's a pretty good range right inside here, actually. Let me just go ahead and find 34 again, right in here. And just pull this line across. And we think about this particular area right here as a pretty interesting one of consolidation, where we broke through, we tested, and we broke out of it, right? This could be an interesting area of demand for when we come back and revisit this potential area down here. So I'm going to use that as our anchor point for this bear market low point. I'm going to say it's probably going to be between $3.53 and $4.34. And then from there, we can talk about that move to the upside. So that move to the upside, where does it go? Well, like I said, you can't have 5 waves on their own. So if we do come down to the lower end, I'm going to put it right down on the lower side at the $3.52. The reason for this is it gives us a lower target to be aiming for on the way upwards, right? Now, with 5 waves going up, and potentially we can argue maybe even diagonal structure, I wouldn't mind that as a diagonal structure either. That would be a pretty fitting move maybe for a leading diagonal. We correct down. And before I talk about that move to the upside, I do want to just grab this high point one more time here and this low point down here. If I can get it, there we go. This retracement would put us, let me actually draw it the other way around. I think it's going to drop us into that 88% retracement levels, which would be ideal. So it actually puts us between the 786 and the 88.2. So when it comes to kind of wave 2 positions, if that is what's going on here, then really anywhere inside this bigger yellow box is kind of primed for reversal. I still think we've got a little bit more to the downside to be had. So that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and remove that. We're kind of within ranges here. So if we're going to be doing the zigzag, which would be 5 up, 3 down, 5 up, and this down here on the bigger macro would just be this kind of pattern here, like that. Right, you just come down in these kind of corrective structures. Possible that we even come down a little bit lower. We'll see how that kind of plays out, but I wouldn't expect it. So 5 up, 3 down. And then, of course, you know, basically we'd go up in 5. And that 5 wave move to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, would take us up to about $97 for Polkadot, right? Which would be pretty good if that's under a zigzag kind of expectation, right there, $96. Or $97.06 right in there. I'll make this one yellow rather than red. Okay, so you can kind of see that. That there would actually complete a zigzag pattern. It would basically be an A, B, C structure. And the gains on that wouldn't be overly that impressive. We'll take it from the lower side, we'll take it to the upside here. It's about 2,600% in gains. Okay, however, there's a possibility that this turns impulsive, and that impulsive trigger for this bull run would be all the way up here at $753, right? Which would be pretty remarkable for Polkadot. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but I will mark it up as a possibility, right? Because if we do go impulsive, we'd have to hit this level as a minimum. Okay, so it's $753.30 approximately. Okay, that would be the minimum expectation on what would be classed as a wave 3 kind of area, right? Let me go ahead and remove those. It means that this would have to go all the way up here. We'd have a big wave 1, some kind of big crash, big wave 3 going up, some kind of wave 4, and then finally a wave 5 coming up and hitting that area, right? I mean, you'd look like this. Now, that would be your bull run kind of over in my mind. I mean, it's possible that we do have another kind of run to the upside, but I wouldn't necessarily expect it. I would actually expect a bear market to bring us down in 3 more waves, okay? And then we'd finally finish it off with a really poor kind of 5 waves, just barely peaking above it. So that would be the kind of the premise on that, and it would actually be a 5-wave structure at macro level spanning multiple years. You go 1, 2, up here for 3, down for 4, and up for 5. Okay, so you can see how that would span across multiple years. 2 bull runs and a bear market in between as well. So I think Polkadot has potential. I'm yet to see it fully. Chris believes in Polkadot a little bit more than maybe I do, but I do think there's a couple of things to be thinking about. Minimum expectations, and then kind of, you know, good kind of expectations of what we would like to see. So for Polkadot, my expectations are then the next bull run at least $97 in my opinion. But there's that potential move going up to 753. And if we do go up to 753% from these lows, which seems crazy at times, it really does, it would be over 20,000% in gains. So it would put us at a pretty reasonable level in terms of Xing your investment on Polkadot. But I think Polkadot's ecosystem, as from a fundamental point of view, is growing. It's got a lot of potential to it. So yeah, it's one of those. We'll be able to ascertain what's happening closer to the time as these structures emerge in the next kind of bull run, whether Polkadot is going to get a huge slice of the market or not. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on Polkadot in the description down below. Do you think $97 is the most realistic, or do you think it has the potential to hit $753.30? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this useful, informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and don't forget to join us down in Discord. Links in the description below. Guys, with all that said, done and out of the way, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.